Let's get something straight. It's not the shape of your body. It's not the curve of your smile. And no, it's not how well you play the game. What truly captivates a man, what stays in his mind long after the moment has passed, isn't physical. It's energetic. It's magnetic. It's unforgettable. Today, I'm going to tell you what makes a woman utterly irresistible. Not just noticed, not just liked, but remembered. Let's talk about confidence, the kind that can't be faked, borrowed, or dressed up in designer labels. It's not about walking into a room in heels and lipstick, hoping someone notices. It's about walking in already knowing who you are, whether you're in sweats or stilettos. This kind of confidence doesn't scream, it radiates. It doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. Effortlessly. It's a silent energy that shifts the atmosphere the moment she enters, because the woman carrying it isn't looking for validation. She's already found it within herself. There's a difference between surface-level bravado and deep-rooted confidence. One is noisy, performative, often rooted in insecurity. The other, quiet power. A woman who is confident in herself doesn't need to boast. Her presence is it all. She knows her worth, and because of that, she doesn't settle. Not in relationships, not in friendships, not in life. She knows that settling is the slow death of self-respect, and she refuses to live small just to be liked. She's not afraid to be too much, too bold, too ambitious, because she's done dimming her light to make others comfortable. Comfortable. Confidence shows up in the way she speaks, in the words she chooses, and the ones she doesn't waste. She's direct, but kind. Strong, but soft. Her voice has weight, not because it's loud, but because it's rooted in truth. When she speaks, people listen, not out of obligation, but out of interest. She's not trying to convince anyone of her value. She simply lives it. And in a world full of noise, her clarity becomes magnetic. Men and people in general are drawn to women who know who they are and own it fully. It's not about arrogance. It's about assurance. It's the way she owns her flaws and still holds her head high. High. It's the way she laughs at her mistakes, forgives herself quickly, and moves forward without shame. She doesn't need perfection to feel worthy, and that's exactly why she becomes so damn irresistible. Because a woman who accepts herself sets a new standard for how others are allowed to treat her. Confidence isn't just attractive, it's contagious. When a woman walks with confidence, she gives silent permission for others to do the same. She becomes a mirror, reflecting back strength to those around her. She elevates the energy in any space she enters. Her confidence is not a shield to protect her. It's a light to guide her. She doesn't hide her fears. She simply refuses to be ruled by them. And that fearless authenticity is what sets her apart in a world obsessed with imitation. And here's the deeper truth. Real confidence is built, not born. It's earned through choosing yourself over and over again. It's sculpted in silence, in moments when no one is watching. It's developed through boundaries, through heartbreak, through growth. A woman with purpose moves differently. She doesn't wake up wondering who she needs to impress today. Her energy isn't scattered trying to fit into someone else's expectations. She has vision, direction, a mission that lights her up from the inside out. You can feel it when she walks into a room, There's intention in every step, clarity in her gaze. She's not here to play small or pass the time. She's building something, living for something. And that, more than anything else, makes her magnetic. When a woman chooses purpose over pleasing, she stops molding herself into versions that make other people comfortable. She stops saying yes when her soul is screaming no. She no longer sacrifices her voice to keep the peace or her values to keep a man, or values to keep a man. Instead, she aligns her choices with who she's becoming, not with who people expect her to be. That shift, it's not just attractive, it's powerful. It sets a new standard in a world where so many are lost in performance. A purposeful woman doesn't need constant attention to feel worthy. Her fulfillment isn't tied to being admired. It's tied to being in alignment. She knows that her worth isn't measured by how many people approve of her. It's measured by how deeply she honors herself. That energy changes the game. Because when she's lit up by her own path, she becomes unforgettable. Gettable. Not because she's trying to be, but because purpose has a way of making people unforgettable. Men sense it. They notice the difference between a woman who's performing for attention and a woman who's driven by vision. One exhausts herself chasing approval. The other inspires by simply living her truth. And the truth is, men don't fall for the woman who tries to be everything to everyone. They fall for the woman who is everything to herself first. First, the one who knows where she's going and doesn't flinch when others don't understand her direction. Purposeful women are leaders, not always in title, but in presence. They inspire action. They uplift. They make others want to rise. They bring depth to conversation, meaning to connection. They don't do small talk for the sake of it. They speak life. They spark growth. And it's not because they're trying to impress anyone. It's because they've done the inner work, and it shows. Their life becomes their message, and that message hits different. It's not rehearsed. The most attractive thing about a woman with purpose. She doesn't need you, but she might choose you. And that difference is everything. When a woman lives from her core, when she's anchored in mission and meaning, her love is no longer a dependency. It's a gift. And receiving that kind of love from someone who is already whole is one of the most powerful experiences in the world. She doesn't complete anyone. She complements them. And that's what makes her unforgettable. A confident woman isn't someone who has it all figured out. She's someone who decided she's worthy even while figuring it out. That decision, that inner declaration, that's what makes her unforgettable. Because when you meet a woman who is fully aligned with herself, you don't just notice her. You feel her. You feel her. A woman who possesses emotional depth is a force unlike any other. She doesn't just skim the surface of relationships or interactions. She dives deep. She listens with more than her ears. She listens with her soul. She can sense the unsaid words in a room, the emotions hiding behind a smile, the pain veiled in a laugh. There's a richness to her presence because she understands that connection goes beyond words. She sees people, not as they appear, but for who they truly are. And that level of awareness is magnetic. But emotional depth doesn't just come from understanding others. It comes from understanding oneself. A woman with emotional intelligence is aware of her own feelings, her own triggers, and her own needs. She doesn't suppress her emotions to maintain peace, and she doesn't let her feelings control her actions. Instead, she processes, reflects, and grows. She's comfortable with vulnerability because she knows that it's not weakness, but strength. It takes courage to stand in your truth, to allow yourself to feel deeply, and to be open with others about what you're experiencing. And this openness is what draws people in, because it's rare to find someone who is unapologetically real. One of the most powerful qualities of a woman with emotional depth is her ability to maintain her boundaries. She understands the importance of emotional protection, not as a defense mechanism, but as an act of self-love. She doesn't let anyone cross the line. She respects herself enough to walk away from any situation, relationship, or person that doesn't align with her values or honor her worth. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about preserving her. She's not afraid to say no when necessary, because she knows that protecting her energy is essential for her well-being. Men notice this because they know that when a woman values herself enough to guard her emotional space, she teaches them how to do the same. A woman who has emotional depth is not driven by drama. She doesn't thrive on conflict or create chaos in relationships. Instead, she seeks resolution and growth. She's capable of holding space for difficult conversations without breaking down or retreating. She doesn't shy away from confrontation, but she approaches it with maturity, respect, and a genuine desire to understand. She recognizes that challenges are opportunities for growth, both for herself and for the people she's in relationship with. And when she navigates conflict with grace, it deepens the connection because men realize that this is a woman who values long-term peace over temporary pleasure. Men are drawn to women with emotional depth because of the consistency they offer. They are steady in their emotions and reliable in their reactions. There's a sense of security that comes from being with someone who knows themselves well enough to weather the storms without falling apart. A woman with emotional intelligence doesn't hide her emotions, but she also doesn't let them control her. She reacts thoughtfully, not impulsively. She can express her feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. And this stability is deeply attractive because it creates a space where men can feel seen and understood without fear of judgment or volatility. Finally, the emotional depth of a woman is reflected in her capacity for love. She loves not out of need, but out of abundance. She knows that love isn't about saving anyone, it's about sharing in the beauty of someone else's journey while continuing to walk in her own. Her love is not desperate, it's empowering. She nurtures without suffocating, cares without controlling, and gives without expecting. Her ability to love fully and without condition is what makes her unforgettable. It's this genuine, unshakable love that creates deep bonds that makes people want to stay, to grow with her, to invest in her. Because a woman with emotional depth doesn't just offer affection, she offers transformation. A woman who has unwavering standards doesn't just let life happen to her. She actively shapes it. and she does so with an unshakable sense of self-respect. Her standards aren't arbitrary. They are the foundation upon which she builds every aspect of her life. She knows what she deserves, and she is relentless in holding herself to that standard. Whether it's in relationships, career choices, or even how she allows others to treat her, she does not compromise on what aligns with her values. There is no settling, no lowering her expectations, because she understands that she is worth the best. This kind of clarity and conviction is powerful. It radiates from her, making her presence impossible to ignore. It's easy for some to confuse having high standards with being overly demanding or unrealistic. But the truth is, a woman with high standards is not trying to control others. She's simply demanding respect for herself and for what she brings to the table. She knows her value and expects it to be recognized. She doesn't waste time with anyone who doesn't see her worth. Her standards are not just about her, though. They are about setting the tone for how she engages with the world. She understands that if she doesn't hold herself to high standards, no one else will. In every area of her life invites the same energy from others. This unwavering commitment to her standards creates a powerful dynamic in her relationships. Men are drawn to a woman who knows exactly what she wants and isn't afraid to go after it. They admire her strength and resolve. She does not bend or fold to fit someone else's narrative. When a man meets a woman who has her boundaries clearly defined, he knows he has to rise to meet her. He can't get away with mediocrity or half effort. She challenges him to be the best version of himself, and in return, she shows him the incredible reward that comes from loving someone who knows her worth. This reciprocal growth creates a bond that is far more profound than anything built on convenience or compromise. A woman with high standards is not afraid to say a no when it's needed. She recognizes that saying no is an act of self-love, not selfishness. She understands that in order to protect her emotional space, she must prioritize herself above others' demands. It's not that she is closed off or unkind. It's that she recognizes her own value and knows that her time and energy are precious. She doesn't give herself away to anyone who doesn't value her in the way she deserves. Men find this incredibly attractive because it shows that she has control over her own life, her own decisions, and her own happiness. It sends the message that she isn't looking for validation or approval. She's already secure in herself. Furthermore, the beauty of a woman who has high standards is that she isn't afraid of walking away from situations or relationships that don't honor her. This doesn't come from a place of bitterness or anger, but from a deep sense of self-respect. When faced with something that isn't aligned with her standards, she chooses peace over chaos. She chooses respect over compromise. She will never settle for less than she deserves. This power and this decisiveness. It shows that she values herself too much to entertain anything that isn't in alignment with her vision for her life. That's a quiet strength that speaks volumes without saying a word. In a world that often pushes people to accept less than they deserve, a woman who lives by high standards becomes a rare and powerful force. She's not just someone who refuses to settle. She's someone who demands the best for herself because she knows she is capable of greatness. Ooh. And this energy is contagious. When people meet a woman with high standards, they feel inspired to raise their own. Her presence serves as a reminder that there is a better way to live, one that's centered around integrity, self-respect, and relentless pursuit of what's truly worthy of her time and energy. Men are drawn to this powerful energy because they recognize it as a beacon of strength, self-assurance, and unwavering confidence. When a woman lives with these standards, she sets a precedent for every aspect of her life. So, her career flourishes because she knows her value and isn't willing to settle for less than what she deserves. Her friendships are fulfilling because she attracts people who respect and uplift her. And her relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, are based on mutual respect and admiration. She isn't looking to be saved or validated. She is already whole. Her standards aren't about being perfect. They are about being true to herself. And in that truth, she becomes a force of nature that leaves a lasting impression on everyone she meets. A woman who embodies emotional stability is not easily swayed by the ups and downs of life. She doesn't let external circumstances dictate her mood or sense of self-worth. When life gets challenging, she meets it with poise. Thus, she knows that true strength lies in how she responds to adversity, not in avoiding it. Her emotional stability comes from deep self-awareness and a profound sense of inner peace. No matter what happens, she remains rooted in her truth, and this calmness in the storm becomes one of her most captivating qualities. Men are drawn to this because in a world full of chaos, they crave a sense of calm and balance. This emotional steadiness doesn't mean that she's devoid of feelings or immune to hardship. It means she has developed the resilience to process her emotions without being consumed by them. She feels deeply, but she doesn't let her emotions define her. She knows how to step back, reflect, and gain perspective before reacting. She takes responsibility for her emotional state, and that responsibility allows her to navigate life's challenges with grace. This ability to manage emotions with maturity and clarity is incredibly attractive because it signals maturity, self-discipline, and wisdom. Emotional stability also means she doesn't engage in unnecessary drama. She understands that she has control over how she responds to events and people, and this sense of control creates a sense of peace around her that others find deeply attractive. When faced with difficult situations or conflict, an emotionally mature woman doesn't seek to avoid confrontation, but approaches it with grace. She doesn't engage in petty arguments or emotional manipulation to get her way. And that ability to move on, to let go, and to create space for the future is one of the most powerful demonstrations of emotional maturity. A woman who embodies emotional maturity is not just strong, but wise. Her emotional intelligence transforms every aspect of her life, from her relationships to her career to her personal growth. She knows that true power comes from within, from her ability to stay grounded in who she is and navigate the world with grace.